What was the announcement with Bo Barker over there?
Yeah, he just, he's our Brandon Burlsworth Award nomination. Each team does that usually, and it's someone who came in as a walk-on and then earned a scholarship, and that's what Bo's done. So really proud of him.
This week, how important is it to, I know there's the holiday in there, but to kind of keep it regular routine after kind of an off-routine week last week?
Yeah, no, it was good, for as short as the last couple weeks were. They had a couple days off after the game. We came back in really, and since Monday, it's been a normal routine for us. Obviously, they're out of school today, tomorrow, so we brought them in about an hour later. Just anytime you can get a little extra sleep this time of year is good. But we're pretty much, even though it's a holiday week, for us, we're able to keep it pretty much on schedule, other than they're not going to class Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which I think they're okay with.
Scott Simons talks about his frustration with last game and just kind of a couple weeks, and the last couple weeks. How would you kind of evaluate his first year here?
Look, I got a lot of faith in Scott and our defensive coaches, and I got a lot of faith in our players. Look, we tackled incredibly poorly last game, very uninspired, and we didn't stop the run. And it was, offensively, we had the 4 turnovers on offense. We had the fumble punt inside the 10. We turned the ball over. We didn't execute very well at all against a good team, and that's why drives didn't finish where they needed to. You look around the country, we played 11 games, and that's really the one outlier for us. With the exception of maybe the third quarter at UCF, we've not had we've had games where we lost or maybe not played as good, but for us to not be able to fight through it and grind it out and compete and give ourselves a chance to win, that was really the one time for us this year. And so the reality of it is, over an 11-game sample size, you can say that's not our identity. That's 1 out of 11. We have to come out and prove that again this week. You look around the country, you look at what happened to Tennessee. I mean, they've been smoking everybody. They go to South Carolina. You look at the Cowboys and the Vikings. I mean, Vikings are 8-1. They get beat 40-3. Like, sometimes those games happen. It's not acceptable. I don't know why we didn't play well, but we didn't, and we got what we deserved because of it.
Coach Silverfield met the media in Memphis earlier this week. He talked about Scott Simons having formerly been at Memphis and how Coach Simons is familiar with them and their terminology. How much of it can Coach Simons give you, and does he get into the offensive game planning at all?
No, because they've got a new defensive coordinator this year. They've had a new offensive coordinator since he was there with Mike Norvell. I don't know how much terminology carries over, but maybe there are some things, but if so, I don't know them. Ryan's done a really good job there. Memphis has had our number for a long time. It's a really good school. They've always got good players, and they always seem to play really well against us. So, I don't think Scott being there for that year really in this case, because it was also in 2018, I think. I don't know how much that really probably matters.
As far as a response, Scott also kind of talked about just how he's going to kind of remember this year, and a lot will hinge on how the response is on Saturday. What are your thoughts on just kind of how you'll view this year and how much of an impact Saturday has on that?
Well, the year's not over yet, so we got 2 more games. So at some point, we'll answer that question on kind of how I see it. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, we're trying to finish well. We have an opportunity to do that Saturday against a good team. And so, we want to send our seniors off the right way. On defense, I just want to see us line up. I want to see us run to the football and tackle. When we miss tackles, if you're running the football, there's other guys there. And, sometimes you can fix some issues there. And then offensively, it's pretty obvious we got to protect the football and execute better.
You've been through senior days in the past as an assistant coach. This is your first as a head coach. And you've talked before about how part of your job when you got here was convincing some of these guys to stick around. As you get ready for senior day, thoughts on this class and really what they've meant to you and your staff?
Yeah, I'm proud of them. They stuck around. They trusted us. They've done a lot of really good things this year. They've won a lot of games over the last 4 years, in some cases for guys 5, or if you're Austin Upshaw 6, And so these guys have done a lot for our program. And like I told them the other day, we're not going to go win a conference championship this year. Everyone wants to do that at the end of the year. Everybody can't, obviously. And but they've helped us set a foundation, and if we can finish the right way, it'll go a long way when we do win here in a few years, because we're going to. Then those guys will be able to look back and say, I was there when we kind of laid the foundation for X, Y, and Z. And I'm proud of them. I'm going to miss some of them, and I won't miss all of them. But for some of them, I know it's going to be emotional. So, look, I did it as a player. usually once the game starts, that all wears off and isn't an issue. But, we'd love to send them out the right way with a win and to finish well.
I'm not sure, we'll talk to you before this, but December 4th, obviously transfer portal opens. I guess, what do you anticipate the moment the portal opens?
I don't think anybody has any idea, right? It's the new era of college football, but we're all a part of it, and so we're all going to roll with it, them waiting till the 4th or 5th or whatever it is, and then obviously next week, really, you can't go out recruiting till Friday, which is a little bit of a new thing. It gives us time, next week to be able to meet with everybody and just kind of get a gauge where everybody is. And there's a lot of guys that I think want to be here. We want guys to want to be here. We also, you want guys in your program that want to be here, and so we'll sort all that stuff out starting next week. I have no idea, but I have a feeling it's going to be pretty hectic for everyone.
Tanner kind of let us know yesterday that this was it. He's going to test the pro waters. Obviously, I think everybody knows what Rashee's plans are for the future with obviously the Senior Bowl. But what have those two meant, and just what has it been like watching those two guys kind of do what they do, semifinalists for awards at their positions and all that?
Well deserved. Tanner and I hadn't even talked about it, so y'all got it before I did. But I mean, that's what he needs to do. I mean, when you look at what Tanner's done last year and this year. You could argue he's been better this year. He's missed a game, so that his total stats are affected a little bit, but his average per game is really good. Trying to see how to say this. He's meant a lot to us just from his leadership, his intangibles, his toughness, his competitiveness this year. I've been really proud of him. I think he's really. I mean, he was good a year ago. I know I wasn't here, but he's really grown and developed just as a leader and as a quarterback and as a teammate. And, I mean, to be here not even 2 full years, and he's 3 touchdowns away from tying the school record for career touchdown passes. That's incredible. And so when you start thinking about, why shouldn't he go? I mean, he's proven this year, too, with the way we do. I mean, he's thrown the ball deep really well. He's thrown the ball across the middle to the far side of the field. He's proven he's got the arm, he's got the toughness, and he's got back-to-back years and different schemes and different offenses with different coaches that he's been very productive. And so, if he comes back, what is there to prove? I did it again. I think he's going to get a shot. I think he's going to do really well. And as far as Rasheed goes, like I said, I've been really proud of just how he's grown into more of a leadership role, not just the production. He's taken that on well, but how he's just grown and matured this year and played through injury that honestly probably a lot of guys in his shoes, especially after he started the season the way he did and kind of burst onto the scene, there's a lot of guys that probably would have said, I'm just going to heal up and worry about me, and he didn't do that, so I'm really proud of him for that too.
What do you see from Memphis defensively?
They're big up front. They're Memphis. They got good athletes and big. It's what I remembered. They can stop the run, and then when it comes to the passing game, they mix up their zone coverage as well. They play enough man, so they don't just sit in one coverage, and that's why I think they lead the league in interceptions. So they're opportunistic, and we're going to have to execute a whole lot better than we did a week ago. I know that.
Tyler Levine carried the load for much of the game in New Orleans. How's Kamar Wheaton feeling, and do you have any other injuries you can update?
Kamar's practicing. We're hopeful he'll be able to give it a go. The rest of the guys are all out there offensively. Obviously, T-New's out, who got hurt in the first quarter last week. I don't think we've lost anyone else this week. I think that T-New, I think, is the main one from last game, and then Kamar, like I said, he's been able to practice, so all signs point to he'll be able to give it a go, and we'll just see how long that lasts.
With Newman's absence, do you expect to have Stephon Wright back?
I don't know. I mean, he's been a game-time decision for about 4 straight weeks now. We were more optimistic last week than we had been, and it didn't go our way. So I'm maybe, questionable, doubtful. We'll know probably Friday. Usually it's when we've been finding out. It would be great to have him, though.
Sorry. What are some of the positions that you guys have kind of identified as maybe those keys in the portal as that thing opens and, even in high school and all that?
Yeah, that's a fair question, and we have been planning, to Joe's question, who's going to be here, who's not. Some of that fluctuates. And probably with respect to our guys on our team still having a game or 2 left, probably won't comment on that right now, but we've got a plan, and we feel like, we like the guys that are supposedly coming back on our roster, and we feel like, as always, there's a lot of people that want to be in Dallas and want to be at SMU. So we feel like we'll be able to have a good mix of the high school and transfer world. But in terms of specifying who and what, I'll probably wait till after the season on that.
And then with NIL, it's been hot button. Transfer portal is part of that now, it sounds like. I don't know how much you can comment about what the support around here has been like, but, what have you thought about that? And then how can you guys siphon that and just kind of.
It's like the transfer. I mean, that's the way it is now. And you want your players here and players that are coming in to get anything and everything that they can get. And fortunately for us here, we've got several groups, collectives that would you have that are pretty supportive. And so, and look, you're looking around the country. I mean, that's the way it is. If you have it, you got a chance. If you don't, you don't. And fortunately at SMU, I think we have it.
We don't know what to anticipate with the transfer portal opening, but you also have a staff that's been kind of prepping and scouting and working. I guess how important has it been to have a department dedicated to transfer portal stuff? It's
been important. I would assume that everyone around the country is doing the same thing we do. While it's still pretty new, we're all starting to get a feel for it. And the thing that's different now is unless somebody's come out and announced their intent to portal, you don't really know for sure until the 4th or the 5th, like who's going to go in the portal, and then you got like a 2.5-week window to do something about it. So you're kind of planning and speculating and preparing for, but when that day comes, then you'll have a little more reality to know how to adapt and adjust. So.